I want to go have dinner. Not interested in this.
And
I'm not Jewish, by the way.
Oh, I didn't accuse you of being Jewish.
If you had to live in the Middle East, where would you live? You could live in Cairo. You could live in Amman, Jordan, Syria. I hear that's wonderful in the summer.
The various Middle Eastern countries that have been destabilized.
We destabilized? That's why you can't wear that
dress?
Did we not destabilize? Wait a second.
I didn't say that.
Okay, that's
what it said. You're putting words in my mouth.
Okay, I asked about the
dress. Are you going to deny that?
And I asked about the dress, and you went right to destabilize. Why couldn't you wear that dress? Why won't you?
Listen,
why won't you?
I'm not going to defend that religion, like that extremist religion at all. That's not what this discussion is about. This is innocent human beings that I don't want to be slaughtered.
So Bill Maher recently sat down with Kasparian on his Club Random podcast. And from the looks of it, Bill was probably expecting a laid-back, casual chat. Maybe some light banter, maybe a little charm thrown in. Here's the thing, though. Bill tends to have a good time on that show mostly when his guests are nodding along with him, or when he's simply doing most of the talking. He loves to say he's the kind of guy who can have a real conversation with anyone, no meltdowns, no drama. But what actually unfolded with Anna was a completely different story. Right out of the gate, Bill positioned himself as the calm, reasonable one, open-minded, measured, not one of those fragile progressives who falls apart the moment someone pushes back. Anna, being exactly who she is, went straight for the Israel-Palestine topic, and she clearly knew it would get under his skin, because it absolutely did.
I want Palestinians to live in their own territory. I want them to be able to govern themselves. I want Israelis to live in peace and safety.
Then stop attacking them.
I'm going to attack them as long as they're doing what they're currently doing.
They're doing in retaliation for being attacked. Of course it is. They've been attacked. They were encircled. Lebanon. Why are they in Lebanon? Because Hezbollah was attacking from there.
Right, in response to what they're doing in Gaza, yes.
Well, before that, they've had 4 wars there.
Was it when they were trying to annex land from southern Lebanon that they were attacking?
They were not trying to annex land. They were trying to put a border between the country that was continually attacking them. Mm-hmm. If we were being attacked from Canada, I imagine we would want a little border between Maine and Canada.
True.
I don't think you
really... But while
really...
building that border, we wouldn't then take a little bit of southern Canada
you're getting this information.
No, it's not TikTok. I'm very well read on this.
Okay.
Very well read on this. I care about this issue a lot.
I see.
I do, yeah.
Let me ask you one question, and then maybe we can get off it. Because otherwise, I just want to go. I want to go have dinner.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in this.
Yeah.
It's not really what I started a podcast for. You seem
I
to be itching to get to it. And now that you have, I'm not going to back down on it because
I don't want you to.
And I'm not Jewish, by the way.
Oh, I didn't accuse you of being Jewish, and then it wouldn't matter if you were.
No, but I'm saying I do this because I think it's the right thing, and because I feel like I know the history and the politics of it.
I respect your perspective.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you had to live in the Middle East, so tomorrow, Anna, you got to go live in the Middle East. Where would you live? You can pick one city, any city. You can, as far away as, say, Pakistan. You could live in Karachi. You could live in Cairo. You could live in Amman, Jordan. You seem to love Lebanon. I mean, Beirut's nice when the bombing's not happening and the assassinations have stopped. Or you could live in Syria. I hear that's wonderful in the summer.
Well, we now have Al-Qaeda terrorists leading Syria.
Or the Houthis, I'm sure, would make room for you.
Yeah.
Tel Aviv, or the West Bank, Ramallah, I think is wonderful for a little, in the fall, it gets lovely. Where would you live? What city would you live in?
Well,
where do you think you'd be comfortable in that dress?
I'm sure it would not be comfortable in this dress in any of the various Middle Eastern countries that have been destabilized by
you're not
the United States.
You're not really blaming it on Whitey.
Listen.
Are you? You're blaming Islam on Whitey?
I'm not blaming Islam on Whitey.
But what you're saying is we destabilized. That's why you can't wear that dress?
Did we not destabilize?
Wait a second.
We were funding terrorist organizations in Syria during the Syrian civil war, starting under the Obama administration.
That's why
Did that not destabilize Syria?
No, what's destabilized?
There's a literal Al-Qaeda terrorist.
We're talking about your dress.
Oh,
why?
It looks good. I know it looks good.
You're saying you can't wear that dress in Syria because of Whitey destabilizing?
I didn't say that.
Okay, that's what
You're putting words in my mouth.
Okay, great.
But the United States did destabilize various Middle Eastern countries. Are you going to deny that?
I asked about the dress, and you went right to destabilize. So is that why you couldn't wear that dress? Why couldn't you wear that dress?
Let's start with the Lebanon piece of the conversation. Bill's argument was essentially that Israel's military presence there was purely defensive. He even used a Canada versus the U.S. comparison to make it sound straightforward. But that framing glosses over something important. From 1985 all the way through 2000, Israel maintained an occupied security zone in southern Lebanon backed by a full military structure. That's not a defensive buffer. That's an occupation. Defending your borders is one thing. Planting yourself inside someone else's territory is another thing entirely. Once Bill started running out of ground on the history, he shifted gears completely and brought up Anna's outfit, essentially asking whether she'd feel safe wearing it in more radicalized parts of the region. It was a textbook pivot away from an argument he wasn't winning. Anna didn't take the bait. Instead, she redirected toward the root causes of that regional instability. Specifically, Operation Timber Sycamore, the CIA program launched in 2013 that funneled weapons to rebel groups in Syria with the goal of bringing down Assad, only for a significant portion of that weaponry to end up in the hands of Jabhat al-Nusra, al-Qaeda's Syrian affiliate. And that's really the broader lesson here. When outside powers destabilize a country, it's almost always the most extreme factions that rush in to fill the vacuum. Religion alone doesn't explain it. Stability does. Compare the UAE to Afghanistan. Both are Muslim-majority societies, yet one functions as a modern, relatively stable state, while the other has been shattered by decades of foreign intervention and war. Tear apart a society's foundations, and radical voices will always be the loudest ones left standing.
Why could you walk down?
You want me to talk about
Why-
jihadism and Islam, but like,
Why won't you?
listen.
Why won't you?
I mean,
Why?
I don't believe in jihadism, which is why I'm furious that the United States just had a freaking Al-Qaeda terrorist in the White House.
It's not just jihadism that is preventing you from wearing that dress. Are you saying every Muslim is a jihad? I don't think they are.
Bill.
Okay, why can't you wear that dress?
Let's focus for a second.
No, you won't answer this question.
I'm not going to defend that religion, like that extremist religion at all.
Why can't you just
that's
say?
not what this discussion is about. This discussion is about
it's very much what it's about.
Ordinary, innocent human beings that I don't want to be slaughtered, regardless of what their religion is.
No one does. Then stop starting wars.
It's that simple.
Stop attacking Israel, it'll stop.
Okay.
But the fact that you can't answer that question, and you know that
I don't know what the question is. What's the question?
You keep doing that.
What's my question? What's your
because
question?
Because you don't really want to hear it.
No, go ahead. I will give you space to speak. Go ahead.
Then you will let me.
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, if you could live anywhere,
right,
from North Africa all the way to, we left out Uzbekistan, you could live there, Kazakhstan, Saudi Arabia, Riyadh. Oh,
none of the above.
And,
none of them.
Or Tel Aviv.
None of them. Literally none of them.
But if you had to choose one, you would. So to you, Karachi, Pakistan, and Tel Aviv, same thing.
I would figure something out, but
that's
I've
powerful,
definitely
not as smart as I know you are. That's come on. You're going to get killed. You're going to get killed for that for good reason.
No, I don't.
Yes, you are, and for good reason.
Okay, Bill, I'm Armenian. I have literal family members who currently live in Iran. I have no love for the Iranian regime. Let me be clear about that.
I left out Tehran. Would you like to live there?
Hold on. But let me just say something.
Tel Aviv, Tehran.
There is so much disinformation. Armenian Christians who are part of the Armenian diaspora as a result of the 1915 genocide against Armenians.
I know it.
They're living in Iran right now. They're going to church. They're being left alone by the Ayatollah, as awful as the Ayatollah is. So look, I'm not saying I would want to live in Iran. I don't want to live anywhere in the Middle East. I want to live here in the United States of America, the greatest freaking country in the world.
You're like a politician. You're avoiding the question.
No, I'm being as super honest as I can be.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
100% I'm being honest with you.
No. Because the question is, if you had to pick a city, and you're not answering that question, you're doing what politicians are doing and saying, I don't want to live in any of them. I want to live in America. That's not the question. The question is, if you had to pick, would you rather live in Tel Aviv? Because I promise you, you wouldn't last a week in the other places, and you could easily live in Tel Aviv. So if you don't think that speaks of a difference between cultures and civilizations, then okay. We'll leave it there. But I promise you it does. And if you had to actually do that, I think you would agree with me.
I think given my very harsh and vociferous criticisms of the Israeli government, I probably wouldn't feel so safe living in Tel Aviv right now under this government.
Well,
under this government.
First of all, they have free speech there, so it would not be an issue. But that is a side issue. We're not really talking about. We'll just say just a person, not you with your vociferous talking out. Just a regular, a woman of your age.
I'm sure a woman of my age who grew up in the Western world would probably feel the most comfortable in Tel Aviv. I will concede that.
Wow.
Okay, but we're having a discussion about which culture we like, when in reality, I'm having a discussion about the value of human life. And wanting innocent people to live, whether they're Israelis or whether they're Muslims in some other Muslim country.
From the start, Bill never really engaged with Anna's actual argument. The whole, where in the Middle East would you choose to live, framing was a distraction more than anything else. Whether Anna would prefer Tel Aviv over Cairo or Damascus is beside the point. Those are countries with entirely different cultural contexts from the West, so the comparison was always going to be uneven. For that matter, Anna might not even pick Germany or France over the United States. This is her home, the country she grew up in and identifies with. And the reality is, she'd likely be just fine physically in many Muslim-majority countries. Feeling out of place wearing Western clothes somewhere like Afghanistan isn't purely a safety issue. It's a cultural one. Walking around in an outfit that's completely foreign to the local context is going to draw stares regardless of any danger, because it's simply unfamiliar. That's not a clash of civilizations. That's just how culture works. Bill tried to spin it into a bigger statement, but it doesn't quite land. The point Bill kept steering around, and arguably the most important one, is the question of American foreign intervention. Whether it's regime change operations, democracy promotion, or billions in military aid to allied governments, the body count from wars tied to U.S. involvement is staggering. The argument isn't complicated. Stop inserting yourself into conflicts that aren't yours to manage, and let people determine their own futures. Anna's mention of the Armenian community also held up. There are Armenian Christians and other Christian communities living across Iran and other parts of the Middle East who practice their faith without being targeted. It's a reality that cuts against the simplistic Islamic world versus the West narrative Bill kept pushing. And finally, Bill's claim that Israel stands out for its free speech protections deserves some scrutiny. Organizations like Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have both documented serious restrictions on journalists and activists who've spoken out against the Israeli government's conduct in Gaza, and the number of journalists killed or wounded during the recent conflict has been widely reported. Holding that up as a model of free expression is a stretch, to put mildly.